So really, the webinar here is about, what's exciting and transformative around AI is the integration of AI into the physical world via robotics and Internet of Things devices, right? Today, we're at the cusp of this revolution. It's just starting. AI is no longer just a concept in sci-fi. It's in reality, it's taking shape in our everyday lives. And this evolution has been phenomenal, moving rapidly from theoretical research to practical applications that are fundamentally affecting how we interact with our environment. One example is autonomous technology, which is a key component of this evolution, is not just about machines performing tasks independently, but it's about creating a smarter, more connected world. So if we look at self-driving cars, navigating streets, right? That's one example. And really, it's also managing our home and our workplace. How many of you have a Nest, thermostat and a Nest doorbell, and can look at your house and turn your lights on and off from no matter where you are in the world? Those are all IoT things, but AI merging into that is going to shift things around. Hey, I noticed that nobody's home today. Let me adjust the temperature down, save you a couple dollars, right? That's an AI-driven response to just a Nest thermostat and the ability to actually do that. So it's a digital assistant. I heard a really good term the other day called digital butler, which I really like that when you think about it. And then obviously the integration marks a significant shift in how we approach technology, offering really innovation is kind of, it's always been a given that a creative mind can come up with something. But, this is really how we can dive more deeply into this topic. Let's explore how AI and autonomous tech can not just augment the world, but also pave the way for breakthroughs in healthcare, in manufacturing, in agriculture, and beyond. So with that, I'm going to open it up and start going through some of the sectors. So in healthcare, AI is really, I'm going to cover 4 in general today, which is healthcare, agriculture, manufacturing, and transportation, right? Those are low-hanging pieces of fruit as far as I'm concerned. Anybody, am I missing anything from anyone? Raise your hands, talk, speak, jump out.
Sounds like a good start.
Okay, thanks. So in healthcare, AI in diagnostics is becoming almost a standard of care. We're starting to see AI-driven symptom checkers, which I actually worked on one with a health book company that was, bringing this information into an EHR to help a clinician or a physician understanding what's going on with the patient. And actually, you could do this today. Even I went through it myself when you're signing up for a healthcare plan in 2024, to kick in. You were given a guided set of questions that's actually being driven by an AI engine that's making decisions about what plans to offer you. So do you need an HMO or PPO, out-of-pocket expenses, et cetera? All that is now a guided journey. United Healthcare just unleashed that. So that's a really interesting change. Anybody out there have any comments on that? Mike, Aaron, Harish, Alexis, come on, guys. Don't make me
Ken,
by myself.
I have a quick question. Let's just say if the AI start hallucinating, for the healthcare purpose and misdiagnose a client, whose responsibility is that? Is it on the hospital, the clinic, or whoever designed the system?
Well, actually, that's a really good question. So let's talk about liability. And again, AI is not meant to replace the human. AI is meant to assist, right? So if you're running diagnostics on a person and the AI engine comes up with some recommendations, it is up to you as the physician or the clinician to determine whether or not the information that the AI is giving you, these are the potential, symptoms, these are the potential treatments. Here's some, potential thought. The AI can only make that as a recommendation. It is not giving you a therapy. It can't do that today, and it's regulated. Actually, they're kind of locking that down, that they don't want to use it for that. In terms of if it's incorrect, and this is probably more of a question for our legal team, Amy and Sherry, if they're there. I know Amy's out today, but it's certainly who would be liable. I think it would be the person who's administering the care is the first line of liability. I think then it would be up to that physician who said, you sold me this AI and you didn't vet it properly. And then the developer who is working on that model could be held accountable for that. But again, I think if you're a smart enough software developer, you're not going to let that happen. You're going to say, listen, it is not my responsibility to validate that every one of these is correct. It is medically, the likelihood of success is high. However, if we get the wrong data or the wrong input or it starts hallucinating, whatever, then the AI engine should not be held responsible for that, right? It's a software package. It's not saying, hey, this is the answer. But someone of authority, a medical authority, needs to be able to say, yes, this is the wrong treatment. You're now subject to malpractice. That's a bad thing. That answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Ken. I have a quick follow-up question. So, as a AI agency or developer, what type of insurance would you recommend to look into to protect themselves from any misusage of the AI technology developed?
That is a great question, and I'm not an insurance expert. Mike Benyo, do you know if we have if liability insurance and indemnification insurance covers that?
It does not yet. Definitely you should have, errors and omissions, type insurance, general liability coverage. But right now, those policies have not been tested in the court to see if they will stand up against these kinds of exposures. And I'm sure that, Amy or Sherry would say the insurance aspect of things, the liability aspect of things is still evolving, barely in its infancy. And insurance matters tend to be very slow to adapt to changes in the environment. One thing, though, just as a follow-up to the previous question, I would expect even by the end of this year, we're going to start seeing end user agreements, EULAs, and terms and conditions start to evolve so that you're going to have to sign away acceptance of the use of AI in whatever service you're signing up for. So we're going to start seeing language change in that regard.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. I think that there will be some litigation that occurs and obviously there'll be some court rulings that will establish some case law. I know of one right now, and it's kind of a side note, but so if you are a radiologist, what's been happening for the past several years and it's been proven, they actually did a number of studies, but the American Journal of Medicine did this, where a lot of radiographs, when you go to get scanned for cancer, were outsourced and going over to the Philippines, where they had much lower cost physicians who were able to read and detect whether or not breast cancer was present. They mapped that up against an AI engine to prove out the PALM-2 database from Google. When they did that, the accuracy of the AI engine was 98% versus 75% for the human interaction. And that was such tremendous difference that they then probed a little bit further and said, okay, how is this possible? And the answer is that because the AI engine has so many more millions of records in its memory bank than a radiograph or a doctor would normally see, is that it is just, the percentage of correctness is going to be higher. It's going to always be more accurate. Now, that being said, if I get back that you have cancer, you have breast cancer, and I then go to an oncologist, that oncologist is going to still question the radiograph. That oncologist is still going to question whether or not you have all the other, is the enzyme, is the gene present, or, the treatment. So in litigation, even if the radiograph, as detected by the AI engine, says the likelihood is high you have cancer, it still needs to go to an oncologist who then validates that. Does that make sense? So in other words, there is a cross-check here. But if the oncologist says, I took you at your face word, shame on the oncologist. It has nothing to do with the AI engine. That was what the litigation was.